In the heart of a bustling metropolis, where the ceaseless rhythm of life played out on crowded streets, there existed a figure named Samuel, a solitary thread in the vast tapestry of humanity. His days unfolded beneath the stoic gaze of the central square's clock, where time ticked away without acknowledging the struggles of those seeking refuge in its shadow. But within the folds of Samuel's tattered existence, a profound story awaited, a story that would intertwine the threads of humanity in ways unimaginable. The city, a cacophony of hurried footsteps and blaring horns, seemed oblivious to the presence of a beggar beneath the clock. Samuel's possessions were meager: a frayed blanket, a worn-out hat, and a small cup that echoed with the occasional clink of coins. To many, he was just another face in the crowd, a mere whisper amidst the city's roaring symphony. The quote that would echo through the chapters of Samuel's life came not from the pages of a book but from an anonymous sage, a whispered truth that permeated the air. In the tapestry of humanity, every thread counts. One crisp morning, as the sun cast long shadows across the square, a young woman named Emma paused before Samuel. Her eyes, usually shielded by the hurried pace of life, met his gaze. In that fleeting moment, something shifted within her, a spark of connection. The quote lingered in Samuel's mind as Emma, a writer with a heart that sought stories, decided to sit beside him. "Tell me your story, Samuel," Emma requested, her words carrying a genuine curiosity that transcended the typical interactions between passerby and beggar. Samuel, his voice a raspy whisper, began to unravel the tapestry of his life, the childhood dreams, the fractured family, and the descent into the shadows. Emma listened, not with pity but with a genuine desire to understand. The quote echoed in the corners of Samuel's mind as he sensed that this encounter was not a mere happening but a deliberate intertwining of two threads in the grand tapestry of humanity. Days turned into weeks, and Emma returned to the central square, not just with spare change but with a notebook. Each visit was a chapter in a collaborative narrative, the story of Samuel's resilience and the shared humanity that bridged the gap between a beggar and a writer. Emma's friends, initially puzzled by her newfound connection, soon joined her in sitting beside Samuel. They brought warmth in the form of blankets, hot meals, and genuine conversations. The central square, once a transient space, transformed into a sanctuary where stories were shared, and the threads of humanity intertwined. The once solitary thread of Samuel wove itself into the vibrant fabric of a compassionate community. Emma's friends, inspired by the bond that had formed, became regular visitors to the central square. The beggar, once unseen, became a part of a community that saw beyond his beggar's exterior. One chilly evening, as the city faced the onslaught of a bitter winter, Emma noticed Samuel shivering beneath his threadbare blanket. Determined to make a difference, she rallied the community around him. Together, they raised funds to provide shelter, warm clothing, and necessities for Samuel. The quote echoed once again, in the tapestry of humanity, every thread counts. Samuel, who had once been a solitary figure beneath the clock, found himself surrounded by an invisible community that cared for him. The seasons changed, and with them, so did Samuel's circumstances. Through the efforts of those who saw beyond his beggar's exterior, he found not just shelter and warmth but a renewed sense of purpose. Samuel, the beggar, became Samuel, the storyteller, a man who had weathered the storms of life and emerged with tales that resonated with the universal chords of human experience. The city, often criticized for its indifference, became the canvas upon which a masterpiece of compassion was painted. Samuel's story, no longer confined to the whispers of the central square, spread through the city like a gentle breeze, inspiring others to see beyond the surface and recognize the intrinsic value of every thread in the tapestry of humanity. Emma, inspired by Samuel's journey, decided to pen a book titled Threads of Humanity. The stories of the beggar and the community that embraced him became a testament to the transformative power of seeing beyond appearances and recognizing the intrinsic value of every thread in the tapestry of humanity. The quote, spoken by an anonymous sage, became the guiding principle not just for Samuel and Emma but for the city as a whole. The once solitary thread of Samuel had woven itself into the vibrant fabric of a compassionate community. Every encounter in the central square became a celebration of the interconnectedness of lives, a symphony of souls, each playing a unique melody but contributing to the harmonious composition of the city's collective humanity. And so, beneath the clock in the central square, where time moved relentlessly forward, the threads of humanity continued to weave a story, one that celebrated the resilience, compassion, and interconnectedness of every person, no matter where they stood in the intricate tapestry of life. As the narrative of Samuel's life continued to unfold, the invisible community that had gathered around him found themselves caught in the resonance of something profound. Each member of this impromptu fellowship contributed not just material support but something intangible, a recognition that Samuel was more than a beggar. He was a human being with a story, a history, and dreams that had weathered the storms of life. The central square became a haven, not just for Samuel, but for a diverse tapestry of individuals who sought more than what the bustling city streets could offer. In their shared moments beneath the clock, the tapestry of humanity unfurled, revealing threads of resilience, compassion, and collective purpose. Word of the community's efforts reached the ears of local media. Intrigued by the transformative tale emanating from the central square, journalists began to visit. Samuel, once invisible to the city, now found himself at the center of attention. The quote, uttered by an anonymous sage, echoed through the articles and broadcasts that told the story of the beggar whose life had become a beacon of hope. The city, often criticized for its relentless pace and perceived apathy, paused to reflect on the simple yet profound truth embedded in Samuel's journey, that every thread in the tapestry of humanity indeed counted. Inspired by Samuel's tale, neighboring communities initiated similar endeavors. The quote, which had once guided Emma and Samuel, now resonated across the city as a rallying cry for compassion. Threads of impact rippled through the urban fabric, weaving a narrative of collective responsibility and shared humanity. Community-led initiatives sprang up, addressing not only the needs of the homeless but also fostering a sense of belonging and understanding. The once ignored corners of the city transformed into spaces where people could share stories, offer support, and celebrate the diversity of the human experience. The transformation that had started with Samuel and Emma continued to evolve. The central square, once a transient space, became a living testament to the enduring power of compassion. The quote, spoken by an anonymous sage, was no longer anonymous, it belonged to the city, etched into the collective consciousness as a reminder of the potential for positive change. Samuel, now a storyteller with a platform, shared his experiences with schools, community centers, and even city forums. His journey became a parable for the resilience that exists within every person, waiting to be acknowledged and nurtured. Emma, the catalyst for this transformative tale, continued to write. Her book, Threads of Humanity, became a bestseller, and the proceeds were channeled back into initiatives supporting the homeless. She, too, became a thread in the evolving tapestry of change. In the years that followed, the central square became a symbol of the city's commitment to compassion. Public art installations, community gardens, and spaces for open dialogue emerged. The city embraced its newfound legacy, acknowledging that the beauty of its tapestry lay in the diversity of its threads. The quote, now engraved in plaques across the city, served as a constant reminder that every person, no matter their circumstances, played a role in the symphony of humanity. The once silent threads of countless lives intertwined, creating a melody that celebrated the collective spirit of the city. As time flowed like a river, the legacy of Samuel's story endured. The central square, once a backdrop for Samuel's quiet existence, now stood as a monument to the enduring power of compassion and community. The quote, which had guided Samuel and Emma through their journey, echoed through the endless tapestry of human experience, a timeless truth that transcended the boundaries of the central square and reached every corner of the city. The threads of humanity, once separate and unnoticed, had become a vibrant and interconnected mosaic, a testament to the profound impact that simple acts of kindness and understanding could have on the human spirit. And so, beneath the clock in the central square, where time moved relentlessly forward, the threads of humanity continued to weave a story that celebrated resilience, compassion, and the boundless potential for positive change in the tapestry of life. The symphony of souls played on, an endless melody that echoed through the ages, reminding the city that, indeed, every thread counted,